Hey guys, it's a tech support guy, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to install Linux Mint on a virtual machine and try out Linux for yourself. Alrighty, so if you want to install this Linux Mint virtual machine, you are going to need VirtualBox. Before you can even get VirtualBox, you're going to need Microsoft Visual Studio C++ 2019 redistributable. So basically, this is the .NET framework in order for the program VirtualBox to run. So we're going to click on this link and download it. And so there's a bunch of options. You got the ARM version, if you got an ARM CPU, which almost no Windows user uses. Then you're going to want to go to the redistributable x64, which is the 64-bit version. Almost everyone is going to download this version right here. Click on it, and you're going to press that one, and it should come up right there. You're going to agree and install. Press yes on the prompt for admin, and you're going to wait for it to install. Alrighty, so it says you need to restart your computer before you can use the software, so I'm going to do that real quick. Alrighty, so after that installation is done, after you restart your computer, then it's time to install VirtualBox. You're going to press this one right here, and then let it install. Alright, there it is. You're going to click on this exe real quick, and then a prompt will come up for admin privileges. There it is. And there you go. Welcome to the Oracle VM VirtualBox setup. You press next, and then it'll say, okay, do you want to proceed? Because there's network interfaces. Press yes on that. And then it says you're missing dependencies. For this specific use case, you do not need the Python core. So you press yes, and then install. And then you're just going to wait for it to finish. Alright, you're going to press finish on this prompt right over here, and then start. Okay, so it says welcome to VirtualBox, and it says love for the application contains global tools and lists all the virtual machines and virtual machine groups on your computer. So after VirtualBox is open, you can press close on that window for now because we are going to download Linux Mint. So you're going to go to your Google search bar and type in Linux Mint download. Oh, I'm typing wrong there. Press enter, and then you're going to have that nice download right there. You're going to want the Cinnamon Edition. So you're going to press download right there, and then it'll say, okay, you know, there's the information. It's this, there's a size, installation guide, and a torrent. So do not use a torrent. I prefer downloading it from a server. You're going to go to, if you're in the US, try to use this one, advancedtoasters.com, and it will be downloading right up there. Alright, once that download's done, you're going to see it right over here. It's going to say Linux Mint 21.2 Cinnamon. You can close your browser window right over there and then go into your File Explorer. And then we are going to go into our documents and then create a new folder. And we're going to call it Virtual Machine ISOs. Bam, right there. And you're going to take this bad boy right in here, this Linux Mint 21.2 ISO. You're going to press Control X on it. We don't want to keep it in our downloads. Go to our documents and then click on our folder and paste it right over there. And there it is. There's that ISO right there. It's going to say disk image file. It's going to show the size of it, obviously. And you can get rid of these installation files for your programs. Alright, so next step, we're going to go into our VM VirtualBox right over here. And then, let's pick them up. You're going to want to click on the New button, and we're going to call this Linux Mint. It's going to say Ubuntu. VirtualBox is pretty smart. Press Next, and then we're going to give it some memory, 2048 megabytes, and that's pretty small. We're going to go to 4096 and allocate that. So we're going to go over here, 4096, and we're going to give this around 4 cores. Press Next. And it's going to say, oh, do you want to create a virtual hard disk? Why, sure. So let's going to make that, let's make it 50. Yeah, let's give it 45. Let's make this a pretty beefy virtual machine. And go 50 gigabytes. All right, press next on that prompt, and it's going to say, okay, this is your operating system and what's in information. Press finish, and there he is. So press start right there. And the virtual machine will launch right away after it powers up. And it's going to say, oh yeah, the virtual machine failed to boot because there's no operating system, obviously. So we're going to press Other. And then we're going to navigate to that folder in our documents and virtual machine ISOs. Bam, right there. Open and say Mount and Retrieve Boot. And there it is. You can maximize this window. And you're going to get this lovely resolution. And it's going to say GNU Grub version 2.06. And it's going to say Start Linux Mint 21.2 Cinnamon 64-bit. You're not going to want to do compatibility mode. Just press Enter right there. And it is going to install. Or actually boot the live environment, to be more specific. Look at that. There is Linux Mint booted up. So you can see right now this is a live image. It's just kind of correct the resolution. And it says, gives us all this information and our general desktop. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to click this handy Install Linux Mint tool right here. Because right now this is called a live boot environment. So you can mess around in here, do whatever you want, and know that you're not going to actually break anything. So we're not going to do anything for now because we're going to press Install. So double click on that right there. And then, wait for that prompt to show up. There it is. So it's going to say English. And yes, I speak in English. Continue. And then we're going to test our keyboard. This is a test. And then continue if it's working. We want English US. And yes, we do want the multimedia codec. These are going to be great for playing videos and rendering and video editing and stuff like that. So we're going to press continue. Going to prepare drivers. All right, so it's going to say erase disk and install Linux Mint. Now, unless you're installing this on bare metal hardware and you're trying to dual boot, you're going to want to click this option right here, especially for a virtual machine, because there is nothing on this virtual disk. So we're going to press install now. And it's going to say, if you continue the changes list below, it's going to try to partition the disks and make its home on this virtual hard disk. Continue. And we're gonna keep our location as New York. Let's keep it the same. And we're gonna say our name is Tech Support Guys. Tech Support Guy. Let's just call us Tech Support Guy. And instead of VirtualBox, we're gonna call it Tech Support Guy VM. And it's gonna say choose a passcode. We're gonna do a very secure password of password. And we're gonna press continue. If you're installing on bare metal, you can choose the option to encrypt your home folder, which is basically the folder that has all of your files, documents, and videos on it. And it's going to give you this lovely prompt saying, thanks for choosing Linux Mint, and it's going to do you a little slideshow of what the features are. And I'll be back with you once this is done. Alright, once your installation is finished, it'll tell you, do you want to continue testing or do you want to restart to your installation? And we're going to press restart now, because there it is. And there it goes. Linux Mint is booting up with a real installation. I hope the display resolution changes, because right now it's pretty small. Otherwise, we could probably change it in settings. Alright, so there it is. It says Tech Support Guy. Logging in right now, and we're going to put in our password, our very secure password, and then wait for it to log on. And apparently it has connected up to quote-unquote Ethernet. So we're going to press Let's Go. And now we're going to skip all this. Documentation. It's going to tell you about all the things that Linux Mint comes with. And we're going to close out of this window and uncheck Show This Window dialog at Startup. And close out of that. And here we go. Now, as you can tell, the display resolution is pretty small, so we're going to need to change this. We're going to go into Display Settings, and it's going to say Unknown Display, obviously, because this is a example device. We're going to change our resolution to 1680 by 1050 and press Apply. And we're going to say Keep New Configuration. We're also going to go to View and press full screen mode. Switch. There it is. So after you're in full screen mode, it now basically allows you to see the entire thing. See the cursor changing. See the entire thing because we changed the resolution to something bigger than the VirtualBox could display in that small prompt. So, what can you do with your Linux Mint installation? Well, first of all, let's customize our installations a bit. We're going to go to Settings and click System Settings. And we're going to change our background because this one looks a little bit boring. So let's try, I like Norway. That one looks pretty nice. And we're going to close out of here and try and go into our theme selection. And this gives us a bunch of color schemes that are applied to, for example, our file explorer, if you want to call it that. We're going to change us. I like this Yaru type theme. That looks pretty nice. Kind of fits our aesthetic back here. And we can also change to dark theme, but I prefer mixed, to be honest. Okay, so now let's go to our system settings and let's change our camp details because we want to set a profile picture. We click on this picture right here and it gives us a bunch of Windows 7-esque sort of profile pictures. I like this chess one right here. Let's go with that one. Oh, you know what? Coffee. Let's do that one. All right. Now when we press our Mint menu, you want to call it that, and lock, there it is. I'm the tech support guy with my profile picture. And now we can log in as normal. So let's do a little bit more customization. Let's get our desktop filled with some icons. Now currently right now there is no recycle bin or trash on the desktop, not by default of course. So let's navigate to the settings panel and let's go to the desktop. And so right now that we go in here, the only folder that's checked is the home folder, but I want the trash icon to be displayed as well. So let's check this toggle right over here, and there you go. Now the trash icon displays on the desktop. All right, so now let's get in the nitty-gritty details. Now, why would you use something like this? I mean, this is essentially just Windows, but, with missing app support, right? Well, there's a little bit more to that, and let's get into it.
Now, you may be wondering, why would I choose Linux Mint over something like Windows or even another Linux distribution? Well, Linux Mint is great with its interface. If you're coming from Windows, you'll find that the Cinnamon desktop environment is very intuitive and familiar. It has a sleek design, it has a taskbar at the bottom, and a start menu with transitions seamless for not only new users, but Windows users. Now let's talk about stability. Linux Mint is based on Ubuntu, which is known for its stability. However, Linux Mint takes it a step further by making a more conservative approach to updates. This means that less fewer system breaking changes and a more reliable operating system than something like Windows or even Ubuntu, which is better for both beginners and seasoned users. One standout feature is the software manager. Linux Mint's software manager simplifies the process of installing, updating, and removing software. It's a centralized hub where you can discover and manage lots of applications without the hassle of installing executables and only the hassle of trying to get your program on the latest version, Windows. Plus, the update manager keeps your system up to date without bombarding you with constant notifications, Ubuntu. If you're concerned about system resources, Linux Mint is lightweight and can run on older hardware without sacrificing performance. And if you want even more stability and performance, you can go with something like XFCE or Mint. For those who love to personalize their desktop, Linux Mint provides lots of customization options. From themes and icons to even desktop effects, you can make your Linux Mint experience very good. Another crucial part is the community. Linux Mint has a vibrant and helpful community while also providing you with lots of helpful documentation. In conclusion, it's a very good alternative to both Windows and Linux versions like Ubuntu. However, it's not Windows and a lot of your applications will not work and you will have to find alternatives for lots of them. I will be showing you later on the video how to install alternatives and get the apps that are familiar to you installed. So let's move on. All right, so let's get some apps installed. So what do we want to do first? Well, let's try to get a app called GIMP. Because if you're an Adobe Photoshop user, you might be surprised to learn that Linux actually doesn't have it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to an app called the Software Manager. We're going to click enter on there, and it's going to be downloading the cache for the store, which is basically all the app's information and links. It's trying to basically load a web page essentially. Alright, so you're going to type in the search bar up top, GIMP. Even though it's on the home page, I want to show you if it's not. So you're going to click this one right here, New Image Manipulation Program. It's going to say create images and edit photographs on the description. Click on it, and it's going to say, do you want to install it from Flatpak or System Package? So you might be asking, well, what's a Flatpak and how is it different from a System Package? Well, Flatpaks are from a website called FlatHub, which basically hosts the programs like GIMP on a web server. And the positives over using Flatpak over normal system packages is the stability, the very, very recent updates, and basically the community and documentation. It's just a all-rounded better version of installing apps on Linux. And I personally hope that it takes over as the best way of installing apps on Linux. So we're going to use Flatpaks like FlatHub, and we're going to press install. And it's going to say, oh yeah, you want these dependencies? Yes, we do. Press continue on that, and then it's going to install.
All right, so it finished installing. Let's click on launch right over here. And there it is. So if you want to do any, image editing or Photoshop, GIMP is going to be your starting ground on Linux. Of course, there are alternatives, but this is a very well-known program. Let's close out of that, and let's try to install a program using our browser. And what do you know? Firefox is installed by default. We're going to click on Firefox, and then it's going to say, oh yeah, welcome to Firefox, blah, blah. We're going to close out of these windows right here, and then we're going to look up Google Chrome. You don't have to install Google Chrome, but this is my browser of choice, or most people's actually. We're going to press download right here, and so we're going to choose the 64-bit.debian file. This is like an executable on Windows that allows you to basically install the program on your system. Press accept and install, and it should be downloading. All right, it finished downloading. Let's click on the Debian file, and it will open very shortly. All right, open. Let's close out of the browser. And it's going to say, okay, we require installation of 1 packages. These are the dependencies Chrome needs to run. So we're going to press install, and it's going to ask us for our password. We're going to put our very secure password in. And it's going to say, do you want this dependency? Yes, we do. Continue. All right, it's installed. So now we can close out of this window and then look up Chrome in our browser. All right, it says automatically send user and crash reports to Google. No, thank you. Let's press OK. And then it'll say, welcome to Chrome. We're not going to set that up for now. Let's close out of here. And now let's pin Chrome to the taskbar. You're going to search it up and say, add a pin. There it is. Alrighty. So what if you want to install a program using the terminal? We're going to click on this handy icon right over here. And we're going to say sudo, means super user. You're basically calling yourself the admin. Apt get, means you're going to get this from a repository. Install neofetch. Put in our password. Install. And now we're going to type in right in here neofetch to see if the program is working. And there you go. So you can install the apps basically the same way as that, just change the name of the app, obviously. So instead of neofetch, if you were trying to install GIMP from the terminal, if you don't want to use the store, that's a way to do it. And it even shows us the logo of our system, which is the Linux Mint logo. We're going to close out of this app. And now let's do the hardest app to install, hardest type of app. I think it is, right? We're gonna look up a program called Android Studio, which is basically a development environment for developing Android apps. So we're gonna scroll down and we're gonna say, I have read and agree. Sure, let's download Android Studio Draft for Linux. Press on that, and there you go. It's downloading. All right, now that it's done, you're going to go click on this r.gz, which is basically a zip file in Linux clothing. It's going to say it's reading the file. We're going to wait for the archive manager to finish reading it and extracting it. And close out of this window, go into our files manager, into our downloads, and then you see this linux.tar.gz right here. So we're going to extract here. All right, once it finishes, you're going to want to click on the folder, that extracted folder, click on it, and then you're going to see a folder called bin. Double click on this folder, and the only file in here that matters to us is studio.sh. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click on the empty space in this folder, and then we're going to say open in terminal. And now we're going to say chmod plus x studio.sh, which is like an installation file. All right, once that's done, you're going to say sudo /studio.sh. Put in your password, my very secure password. Wait for it to finish. There it is. It's going to ask you to import the Android Studio settings. We're going to press OK. And Android Studio draft is going to load up. It's going to say, do you want to send usage statistics to Google? No, thank you. We're not going to send that. And then there it is. There's a setup wizard. Now you can set up this however you want. But this video is not titled how to set up Android Studio, so we're going to press cancel on that. Okay. Close out of this. Bam. Close terminal. And that is how to install your apps. But how do you update those apps and your system? Well, that's all done in one place thanks to Linux's design. So we're going to go to the update manager, press enter, and we're going to say OK. It's going to say welcome to update manager. And if the press the update, it's going to say, oh, a new version of update manager is available. Well, we're going to apply that update. We're going to put in our very secure password. It's going to download all their files, install the software, and once it finishes, there they are. There's all the updates. And we're going to say install updates. These are all our program and system updates that we need. And everything is updated here, which makes everything better. So it's going to say the following dependencies and apps or packages will be installed. And it's going to say, okay, here are they. And we're going to say, okay. And it's going to ask for your password again. It's going to download and install. All right, so when it finishes, it's going to say a reboot's required. So you're going to close out of this window right here, press the Mint logo, press that power button, and say restart. There's that sound. So once it boots back up, you will be in Linux Mint with all of your programs set up. And now that we're in here, we can disable this startup manager once and for all and close it out. And there you go. That's how you set up Linux Mint for your purposes and why you should try it for yourself. See if you like it, and if you don't, at least you tried something new. Well, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you later on the Tech Support Guy YouTube channel.